right, kind of a long intro. I'm just noodling around here, guys. You know, I started playing with this little thing here. Which, if you're in the key of E, that's a 2 minor, F sharp minor, to B7. Back to E. So that's a 2-5-1, right? More to come on that later on down the line. I'll get on all the jazz stuff, but it's really not jazz. It's just a 2-5-1. That's a 2 minor to the 5, and you can hang on that tension for a long time. Cool little melodies in there. That's all CAGED system stuff. Okay, so getting back to the title of this lesson, which I haven't thought of what it's going to be exactly yet, but I have an idea. I actually wrote down a few notes, guys, if you can believe that. I went to Walmart for the first time in about 20 years a couple days ago with my lady friend, and I was blown away at all the shit you can buy at Walmart. I thought Target was bad, which I try to only go there about once every 15 years. I try to shop local. I love Elder's hardware store right here in East Nashville, and even better, Cumberland hardware store, where you can actually talk to a real human being that might know what they're doing, which is a dying breed in this world. Don't even get me started on that shit. Anyway, I got some notes. I want to talk about the new Pro Reverb and the old Pro Reverb and how that's become my new favorite amp again 20 years later. Some Billy Gibbons stuff, and I want to get into the explaining in as much detail as I can what the CAGED system, and that's a heavy quotation marks, what that really is. A couple gear things. As I went to, me and buddy went to Dan, a good friend of mine went over to Dan Strain's house yesterday, and to get my telly tweaked a little bit, just to, you know, every few months get a little adjustment. The weather's been so crazy here. It's been raining for days. We haven't seen the rain in days and days and days here. I'm about to start doing a rain dance, which I know you guys would love to see that. And then, has anybody seen the Elvis documentary about Elvis and all his ex-girlfriends on there? It's pretty fascinating. It gets into a lot of stuff, man. And I still need to read that book that I got. It's from the 70s called Elvis, What Happened? It goes into all the stuff that apparently went down. And could you imagine in Memphis back then with Elvis and all those guys and all the crazy stuff? Anyway, but first of all, before I get into any of that, I wanted to just explain something here. And here's another thing. The biggest elephant in the room with all these YouTube guitar players and teachers and whatever pedal demos and everything that they're doing is, and I might get some blowback from this comment, but it's okay. And it's a pretty general statement. Not everybody applies to this. I got a lot of friends on the YouTube, right? But I use my iPhone, and I sit in this room that's cluttered full of shit, and I try to make it look like I know what I'm doing because I got the little backdrop wall and all that and whatever. And so I sit here and I take whatever guitar is sitting close to me and I plug it right into an old amp with a little bit of reverb, and I turn the volume up and I try to match the volume of the amp with the volume of my voice, because I don't know how to use Pro Tools. I don't know how to edit video. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. And so, because I want to focus on playing the guitar and playing music and working on that career, I'm not worried about being a video editor or learning how to run Pro Tools. I live in Nashville. If I want to go record music, I call one of my engineer buddies, and we go in and we record the music. I want to play the guitar. I think it's a big, important thing to know where you fit into the food chain and how to stay in your lane and do the things that you know how to do really well. Now I'm not saying don't have hobbies and dabble in other things, but for the most part, this is what I do is play this thing. And so I think a lot of guys that have time to sit and edit beautiful videos, cinematic quality, amazing audio, amazing is questionable audio wise, but those guys don't have time to play the guitar for a living if they're spending that much time editing video and doing all these things. And so that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But like Uncle Larry, man, he uses his iPhone and he leans it up against a lunchbox at his house, in his kitchen. I'm using my iPhone. Now, I did buy a little tripod to make my life easier, but you don't see me editing a bunch of shit. If I make a mistake, it's on here. I got a couple little lights, but caveman shit, So anyway, okay, getting back to this, I want to start pushing up on this a little bit. The CAGED system, and that's this. That's what the CAGED system is. It's here. E. It's G. It's A. It's D. Okay, it's all these chords. And so, but the CAGED system is not anything new. The CAGED system, and I'm not trying to patronize anybody or make anybody feel like they don't know what it is. I barely know what I'm doing on this guitar. I just figured a couple things out, and I use these things right here. But the CAGED system is nothing new. Triads are nothing new. It's not like a new workout program, that's going to save our lives in 2 weeks if we, eat nothing but, kiwi skin or something. Who knows what the crazy shit they're coming out with. But, man, here's what I know is the guitar tuned in this way, where you have a E, a A, a D, a G, a B, and an E. When you play a chord, that's what it is, and it ain't going anywhere. It ain't a system. It's just the way that the guitar is. And so when I play this C chord, and I want to play the C chord up the neck, I'm moving up to where that is. This E note becomes there, it's there, it's there, it's there, it's there. So wherever, these are reoccurring. The CAGED system. It's just the chord inversions up the neck. And when you learn that is when the guitar starts opening up, because you have established a framework that is consistent and solid, and where that everything is built on these chords. And so the other thing about the CAGED system is it's not, okay, learn your C up the neck and you know it. This is a lifelong thing. And so if I'm playing an A here, well, if I know my F inversions up the neck, and I know my C inversions up the neck, well, I know that my one chord in C can be here. My F is right there. My C is here. My F, the 4 chord, right there. My C is here. The F chord's here. My C triad's here. My F triad's here. My C triad's here. My F triad's here. I want to go to the 1-4-5, the most basic chord change on the planet. I'll go from my C shape here, my C chord, C triad here, to my F, to my G, to my C. I'll go to this one. Here's my C, here's my F, here's my G, here's my C. Here's my C, here's my F, here's my G, here's my C. So the relationship of this A shape, which I hate calling it that because it has nothing to do with A other than it being the cowboy chord shape. That's all it is. The nut is like when you play these bar chords up the neck, all you're doing is moving this nut. So that's your A. Well, if you take this and you move it up a half step, you have to bar that now. So that becomes B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, G. See what I'm saying? So it's the relationship of all these chords up the neck. If I want to have all the options I can. If I want to play my C out of this shape, my F here, my G there, back to my C. Then I'm learning the fundamentals. C, F, G, C. Because I'm realizing that all that stuff is related, it's all connected, and it's all right there. And so once you learn these chords and all the framework that I've been talking about for years and years and years around them, the chord, the arpeggio, the pentatonic, if it's major and minor. No, don't forget, you don't get a pentatonic for dominant 7 because you got to combine both, right? And so, what was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, chord's the foundation. You know, one of these 4 sounds that's very important: major, minor, dominant 7, or major 7. Here's your arpeggio. As I move those triads and build those chords, the arpeggio changes to fit the sound of the chord. So that's the importance of the CAGED system. The other thing about the CAGED system is, I'm just going to start calling it chord inversions. But the other thing about that is it keeps your hand in the right position, right? If I'm playing out of this D chord, but the let's say first inversion, I'm going to call this the second inversion. Here's my arpeggio. I can see that shape like I can see the back of my hand. I mean, I can see that shape in my sleep. I can close my eyes and point to these notes in every shape. I can see them exactly where they are. You got to know it that well, because everything you're going to do, if you're hunting and pecking for the note and you don't know that fundamental, you're going to be lost forever. And so, again, there's your arpeggio, there's your pentatonic, here's your major scale. Right? That's all out of this, right? I'm not even, look how my hand is not even moving, you know? G, right? A. Back to D. Go to this shape. That's D, G, A, D. Go to this shape. There's A, A7, back to D, D7, G, A, D right here. I'm not trying to overwhelm you with all this bullshit that I'm playing here. I'm just showing you where that ends up when you learn this. So here's your D. Okay, D. G. A. to worry about. Just or not worry about, but this is what you should be concerned with, is just these little triads. Watch, here's D. That little change right there, watch, D to D7 to G. It's a lot of stuff, and one thing leads to the next, to where I can't really stop teaching because it keeps going and keeps going, and I want you to get a thorough understanding. But what people are calling the CAGED system is nothing new. It's just the most concrete fundamental of the way the guitar is tuned, and that's everything. I mean, you got to bring these strings up to these pitches and be able to make these chords for it to sound like music. And that's just the basic foundation level that we can ever start with, right? So that's what I'm preaching. Pro reverb. I'm gonna go through these real quick. Got another pro reverb the other day. The one I've had since I was a teenager, the 1966. Put a Eminence Alessandro Model 12 in there. I had two of them. We took one out because the amp never sounded and felt right. Because if you put a new speaker, high-powered speaker, or just anything that's modern and not fitting the era of that amp, it's going to change the nature of the amp completely. You got to have a good balanced set of speakers, especially in a 212. So we took that Alessandro model out of there and put the Celestian Blue in there with the Alessandro. So one Alessandro, one Celestian Blue. Amazing. Done. Back to having a killer live amp. I'll still keep these little amps around for sessions and stuff like that, but I need 40 watts and 212s, man, to be able to say what I want to say on the guitar in a live situation, to get over the drums and have the headroom. And I'm sorry, man, you can argue with me all day. A deluxe reverb and a Princeton is just not enough when you're in a trio like we're doing, where it's dynamic and it can get sweet, and that amp will get sweet. But when you need the horsepower and that extra gear, you've got it. And when you don't have that, it can ruin your vibe, right? So that's the Pro Reverb. I'll get more into that because I know we're running out of time. CAGED explained. I'm gonna start explaining more about this. It's a lot, but it's there. It's concrete, and you can always rely on it. The gear thing, like I said, Fender amps, they all basically sound the same tone-wise as far as the blackface stuff, the Princeton, the Deluxe, the Pro Reverb, the Twin, the Super Reverb. You're getting the same basic tone out of all those amps. It's just which one do you need to go to the gig. So I could super glue my volume on 4.5 on every one of those amps and just grab the right one to go to the right gig. You're not going to take a Twin to a coffee shop and put it on one, or take a Princeton to an outdoor festival and turn it all the way up. You're not going to have anything. So you have to know what amp to take to the right room, the right situation. I've got two guitars that I like. This 335 and my Danocaster Telecaster. That's all I play. I don't own a Les Paul. I don't own a Strat. I don't own anything except those two guitars. Anyway, yeah, check out the Elvis documentary. What else was I going to tell you? The Gibbons stuff, man. That's going to be a whole other episode of just stories on that guy, man. He continues to blow my mind. I talk to him almost every day. He's just become a great friend, and there's a million stories I got to tell you about just stuff that's happened in the past couple weeks. Anyway, we're going down to the Luck Reunion in August 14th with August 14th, the Luck Reunion in Austin, Texas, which is Willie Nelson's big party down there. Me and Oates will be down there with our cello buddy Nat Smith. And then New York City, don't forget, New York City, March 19th and 20th with the trio at the bitter end. The clinic in Cincinnati, April 19th and 20th. We know those are the same dates, March 19th and 20th and April 19th and 20th. Clinic in Ohio, in Cincinnati, we did one last year. It was amazing. So check all this stuff out. Check the links below. Check out the tip jug if you're feeling inspired and you want to buy old GT some lunch or coffee or a beer here in East Nashville. That does not go unappreciated. The comments do not go unread and unappreciated. I know this is a long video, but I'm getting fired up again. A lot of good stuff coming this year. And more to come. So again, guys, just thanks for everything. Learn your chord inversions up the neck and just keep doing what I'm telling you here, man. And I swear to God, it's I wouldn't be preaching about this stuff if it didn't work. So thanks again. See you guys soon. And cheers. All right. Bye.